All right. Well, today is going to be the last day that we're doing a special email only invitation for Daytrade Dash. What we've been doing for the last 2 weeks during this initial launch is we've been giving anyone who joined through the email list access to the scanners, the chat room, the news feed, and we've included access to my audio video broadcast for free. The audio video broadcast is typically going to be an extra $100 a month. So today's the last day that we're going to include the audio video broadcast for free. So those of you guys who haven't already joined the email list, I'll make sure I post the link here for you. We'll send out an email a little bit later today, and that's going to be pinned to the comments. Reminder, as always, that those tuning in on YouTube, you guys are on a delayed feed. We run ads on the YouTube channel, so you're going to have a delayed broadcast, while those who are members over at Warrior or members of Daytrade Dash have the ultra low latency broadcast. So Daytrade Dash is your dashboard for day trading. You've got all of the scanners, the breaking news feed, and a chat room. And if you want to add on my audio video broadcast, that's an add-on. Like I said, we're including it for free these first 2 weeks, but starting tomorrow, it'll be for anyone that joins tomorrow, it'll just be the extra $100 a month to have my audio video broadcast. So just be aware of that. You can see the pricing over here on Daytrade Dash, home pricing, if you would like to learn more about what the pricing looks like. All right, so this morning we're coming up to 8:30, and my game plan right now is to watch breaking news, pretty much the same as yesterday. And I did get one breaking news trade on APDN already, about $350 on it. That was as we were squeezing up right here, and the news was not really as exciting as I thought it would be. Now, of course, one of the problems is when something is giving you an algo spike and it's jumping up and squeezing up right now, often I jump in because the price is moving and I check the news second. So, this is something that is part of a very fast breaking news strategy to jump first and then ask questions later. And that works well, generally speaking. But, of course, if you see the momentum slowing down, at a certain point, you check the news, see what it is. Fundamentals matter eventually, but in the very short term, technicals are most important. So, yes, I think we're all hoping for another HKD. And I'm sure we will get something, again soon that is maybe not quite HKD, but maybe something a little bit more like PGY that goes from, this one went from $2 a share up to $34.50 high, which was pretty wild. And realistically, I made a lot more on PGY than I made on HKD. So I don't need an HKD. There's a lot of opportunity for something in between. An announcement there, Warrior members, Q&A session at 11 a.m. today, so stay tuned for that. We're also going to premiere a new episode on YouTube at 10:30 a.m. The topic is indicators for avoiding false breakouts. All right, so false breakouts, if you've been trading these last couple weeks, you've probably seen a lot of them. And so I'm going to share with you in that episode some of the indicators I'm using to help me avoid those false breakouts. Okay, so let's see. So we're coming up to 8:30 here. So as we come up to 8:30, I've got the scanners up and I've got my charts up. And what I'll be looking at, so like if APDN hit, right away I already know the stock. I know it has a lower float. I'm very familiar with it. So I could jump in pretty quickly. Now if a stock hits that I'm not familiar with at all, then I've got to do a little bit more research. So like a VNRA, I've got to pull up the chart. I've got to check the float, check to see if it's easy to borrow, hard to borrow, what's the price action, what are the spreads. Thanks, Kevin. Appreciate that. Thanks, David. So VRNA right now is our second leading gapper. Floats a little higher, easy to borrow. Feels like a lot of algo trading on it. Doesn't feel like it's very clean. Doesn't feel like it has the potential to go parabolic. HLBZ. So 830 has come and gone. Let's see. Productivity cost, non-farm productivity. Okay. AIKI. AIKI pops up there with a big spread. So this one is easy to borrow. Floats 5.25 million shares. High was 789. Your 200 moving average is around 8. It is a somewhat recent reverse split. So, you know, kind of quick analysis on it. I'm not seeing what the headline is yet, but looks like there might have been some kind of news at 8:30. We'll keep it on watch, see if spreads tighten up. It's a buyout? Is that what it is? Proposal for buyout at 8. Okay. So, you know, so that's the process, and that has to happen really quickly. Now, if this thing went to 8, 825, 850, then, you know, I might already have been in it. But in this case, it's a no-go. All right, so that one is a no-go. And let's see. So that's 8:30. Couple more headlines getting posted a little late that came out at 8:30. I like to look for the algo spike, so a stock and immediately spiking up. And the way this works is when a buy order comes in, you know, these market makers and high frequency trading algorithms, they subscribe to market data. So they see the order come in, and now they have to balance their portfolio. So they pull their orders that are on the offer. More orders come in, and now they're paying a higher price on the offer because the offer's been pulled. So as the offer starts going up and as more buy orders come in, it sort of, it actually amplifies volatility, the high frequency trading algorithm. So now you have this big squeeze as it moves higher. And then what can happen is the exact opposite when it drops. So then it reverses. And now because those market makers don't want to go short on their position or go too heavy long, they can't just buy an infinite number on the bid. So then they start pulling their bids, and then you get that flush back down. So it's sort of a belief that high frequency trading improves market liquidity. And it does when the markets are very stable, when they're flat. But when the markets become volatile, which of course is what we're usually trading, you actually have less liquidity because these market makers pull their orders. And so that's where we start to get these really big moves. Now, ultimately, those really big moves are where we find a lot of opportunity. So it's fine, but you just have to be aware of it. And you want to make sure you're managing your risk and you're thinking about, okay, well, you know, this could reverse, so I don't want to chase it too high. GNSS. Yep, so GNSS receives $2.2 million LRAD order for commercial security. A little bit higher priced. Gonna leave that one alone. Hey, good morning. $half dollar, whole dollar, definitely big levels, but quarters sometimes. And also just if it pops up to a level and then hesitates, then on that pullback, then I can jump in. That micro pullback. Yeah, and you know, the scanners are tuned pretty tightly. So like a stock like AIKI didn't hit my scanners, and that's because it didn't meet one of the criteria that I look for. Now, I've got a lot of criteria that I look for, so I'm not sure which one it was, but I'd have to look a little bit more closely. But I think it was probably volume. VRNA, a grinder. Yep, grinding higher. So you see back here how it pops up to 50 and then it drops back down to 12, comes back up to 1260. What's going to happen next? A drop back down to 1225. Maybe it starts to pull away, but my expectations are very low on it. And, you know, it's not a recent reverse split. It's not a recent IPO. It doesn't feel like it has the sort of juice factors that have given us big moves this week. Yes, it's a biotech pharma stock, so you've got that, but that's it. So I don't know if that's going to be enough right now. So far, you have this nice move from about 10:30 up to 12:25, and that was the cleanest move of the whole day. So thanks for everyone tuning in this morning. I appreciate you guys being here as always. We've got about an hour to the opening bell. And so at this point, I'll be watching for breaking news anytime between now and the open. Certainly at the top of the hour at 9 a.m. we'll watch for breaking news. Sometimes you get breaking news at odd times. So I just kind of, I stay here. I'm alert. But I'm also trying to, hang tight a little bit. I'm up $353 here today. So far, haven't really been able to do too much. VRNA is our second leading gapper, but it's got this look of just a very crowded, thickly traded algo kind of stock. It's choppy. It pops up, it drops back down. So I don't know that this one is going to give us clean action today. You've gotten some pops on it, but I don't know if that's quite enough. Your high back there is 1264. But this being easy to borrow, it's not on short sale restriction, and it is easy to borrow. So it's not hard for people to short as market orders and try to hit the bid, or certainly, of course, to short into pops. So usually with something that's easy to borrow, I like to see it squeeze out some early short sellers first, and then I start to get interested. So like you can see up here, so now it's like moving a little bit more, it's pulled away. Like that right there was a nicer move. That was one of the nicest moves we've had actually, in a good stretch since like 7:15. But is it going to immediately reject? And the high is 1310. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. If it can hold this level, 1310 breaks, then 1325, 1350, but you're already back at 1280. So it feels like that's a rejection of 13. It broke that level, but it couldn't hold above it, and it came back down around. So I am on my traveling trading station today, and so I'll probably be trading a little bit less. Interesting on VRNA. So you can see that's pulling back. SLS. We've traded that one before. It's moving up just a little bit. Easy to borrow. Floats 20 million. RNA is back at 1268. QNRX, inside candles, very small after the offering. If it was able to break through 7 approximately, you might get a pop-up towards 9 or 10. Worth keeping an eye on just in case. RETO on the scans, a little cheaper. Agree, Rachel. Yep. HLBZ, float's a little high, price is a little low. Got about 15 minutes till 9 a.m. VRNA dipped all the way to 56, popped back up. QNRX is up 7-8%. High pre-market was 647. Shares are 44 cents on QNRX to borrow. Pretty expensive. Would cost 4,400 to borrow 10,000. HLBZ Yes, they already did the offering. They already announced it. I think it was at $5. VRNA pulling back a bit. So we've got about 12 minutes or so, 13 minutes until 9 a.m. We'll see if we have any new headlines coming out at 9, top of the hour. For those tuning in for the morning show, reminder of a couple things. Number one, in case you didn't already know, trading is in fact risky, and my results are not typical. So make sure you take it slow and manage your risk. Also, I would encourage you to trade in a simulator before you put real money on the line. This morning, we've got kind of a thinner gap scanner. VRNA, leading gapper, 83%. TUEM, too cheap. RETO, too cheap. BBQ, price a little higher, but it's an acquisition. OTRK, HLBZ, a little cheaper, floats a little higher. So we don't really have anything at the moment that's super exciting, which is kind of a bummer. QNRX looks like a hidden seller at 6. Not really that surprising on that one. So taking it kind of slow this morning so far. One trade on APDN, which was news, $350. We'll look to see if we have news at the top of the hour. That could give me some more trades. I would also remind folks that today is the last day that we're doing a special on Daytrade Dash. So Daytrade Dash is the website you can go to if you want to subscribe, not to Warrior Trading and to all the educational classes, but just to the chat room. If you just want the chat room scanners and you want the news feed, this is where you'll go. And there's a monthly subscription for the scanners and the news feed and the Daytrade Dash chat room. We are also, you can, for another $100 a month, you can add on my audio video broadcast. So you can hear the broadcast that I broadcast out to Warrior Pro members. Right now, and ending today, that broadcast is included for free as we've been launching this new platform. So I encourage you guys, it's email only invitation, so make sure you're on the wait list. We'll send you emails later today with the link to join. You can check out the pricing and things like that here, but the special will end today. All right, so this is for the first group of traders that will be using this platform. They'll be getting access to my broadcast for free. Okay, so about 10 minutes to the top of the hour here. No real change in the scans at the moment. Thanks, Jason. Appreciate that. So at 10:30 this morning, I'll premiere a new video on YouTube on indicators I'm using to avoid false breakouts, and this is one of them. So that'll be coming up at 10:30. S&P 500 right now, pulling back a little bit. Tapped the 200 moving average yesterday on the daily, and now pulling back off that level. VRNA, just kind of boring. It's not that exciting. It's not really moving that much. Well, I think RETO is just not worth it. I don't think there's enough range. I don't think it's going to move enough. BBBY, meme stock, no interest, rejected the 200. High there was 1350, kind of similar to the move right here. Up 91%. ILAG, I don't think so. You get pulled back too much. Yeah, I think VRNA is boring because the moves, you've had these single candles, but then you have these long periods of chop. Now it could start to pull away and get more interesting, but this range here, it's just too slow. This isn't fast enough for me. Pops up, it drops back down, pops back up, false breakout, drops back down, pops up, drops back down. Finally, it broke out there, but of course it drops back down again. Popping up again here to 1349. So, you know, I I don't know. I just don't really expect it to be clean. These ones can just be too choppy, especially for breakout traders, which is the way I like to trade. So we're coming up to top of the hour here. $11,000 share seller in the 70s on VRNA. All right, so let's see if we have any news headlines at the top of the hour here. Good morning. Nothing new hitting the scanners here. Oops. ZKIN, quick long there at 57 on news, added at 70. Let's see if we get a squeeze on ZKIN up to $2. We've got a news headline on this one, watching for an ad over $1.70. Adding at 65 on ZKIN. Now looking for 75. We'll see if we get a move up to 80. There's a nice bid there. High of this candle is 74. New order is at 75 on ZKIN. So they got a $75 million contract, it sounds like. Look at this. $75 million bid in high quality drinking water project. Up 28%. Watching over $1.65 and $1.70. So this is an algo news spike. There's 64, there's 66. Should have broken 70 already. Small gain, 183. That right there was a micro pullback. As it came up, it should have gone right through 70. There was a 10,000 share seller at 66 and another one at 68. We'll watch it if it can get over 70. It's right at the 200. It broke through it, but it wasn't able to hold above it. So good job for those that jumped on this a little earlier. So that was our 9 a.m. news. So we had news on APDN, news on ZKIN. Both of those gave algo spikes. Neither of them were really that big or sustained. Kind of a bummer. VRNA is up 100%. Extended on the 5. Double top at 1438. So no trades on that one for me. QNRX, that one's not set up right at the moment, but is still on a side chart. Yeah, VNRA is holding up here, but it's extended on the 5. The 9 moving average is at 13.24, so it's about $1 and a share off that level. Given it's easy to borrow, I'm not sure it's going to work. ZKIN, already tried it once, and now it's back below the 200. So I don't think I'm going to go back for it. I thought the headline was good, but no action. Not much anyways. Float and ZKIN is a little higher also. HLBZ, yep, I know a bunch of folks have been talking about this one for a couple days. You know, we had some great trades on HLBZ when it IPO'd. This was a really good recent IPO setup, kind of like PGY, HDK, goes all the way up to 26, pulls back, comes back up to 16, pulls back, goes all the way up to 42. So we had some big action. And then since then, it's just sold off. And so I've kind of lost interest in it. But, you know, it doesn't mean there's not opportunities. Just because I don't find interest in it. I mean, no one's going to capture every single possible opportunity each day. And so you choose what you think fits into your wheelhouse and what you think you could do well on. And, you know, sometimes like on VRNA, you underestimate something or you don't like it and it goes. But you just have to stick with your guns and follow your rules. And that's what's going to keep you in the green. So finished yesterday, just under 10,000, which was good. Today, $537. Haven't made much progress, but to only have taken 2 trades. I rarely trade warrants. Very rarely. Nice, Marcelo. Good. Yeah, I am using eSignal for charting right now. We're building out our own charting inside Daytrade Dash, so eventually I'll switch over and use that. Keeping my development team busy at work. The thing with eSignal is it's the same exact software I've used for like the last 10 years. I'm used to it, but also they haven't changed it like really at all. My understanding is eSignal got bought out by ICE, and when I talked to one of the guys over there, they sort of were like, yeah, it was bought out, but they don't even care about the product. They bought it for something else. So like they have, you know, many of you have tried with members or customer support over there. It's like such a pain. So I have problems with it from time to time, and there's nothing I can really do about it. But that's all right. It's been good. We'll keep using it for a while. Billy, 1,000 usually, yes, but 2,000 sometimes. I have hotkeys all the way up to, I think it's 5,000. I would have to just double check. ZVZZT. Shift 5. Yeah, so I've got 5,000 share hotkey there. But I actually haven't used that one in quite a while. Well, I wouldn't say the software made me 10 million. I made 10 million trading, but I wouldn't say it was the software that made me that money. Certainly not the charting software. I would give more credit to the trading software, but the charting, I mean, I'm not going to say it's that I haven't liked it, but it's there's room for improvement. So, you know, I feel like on VRNA, if I got it up here, I'm almost like guaranteed to lose on it. So you got a nice break there of 1420, a nice pop up to 1475 with a topping tail. High is 1475. Okay, so we've got about 15 minutes to the opening bell. It seems like VRNA is stealing some attention, but I haven't traded it, and I don't want to trade it up here. So, I may just have to take $500 and be happy with that for today. Try again tomorrow, and we'll see if tomorrow we have more moving that I feel more comfortable with. And keep an eye on the possibility of news at 9:30 or 10, but not as likely. Couple news headlines there. MDNA, public offering, ETWO, expands partnership. So top of the gap scanner, VRNA, floats a little higher, easy to borrow, a little choppy, but you've had a couple of nice green candles, topping tails on a lot of them, but it does move. I just don't feel like it's quite strong enough, but you know, it's gone up, so whatever. That's VRNA. Next one down, TUEM, too cheap. RETO, too cheap. BBQ, buyout. OTRK, too cheap. GDRX, floats too high. HLBZ, price is a little low, floats a little high, not a great combination. BIMI, too cheap. ZKIN, already tried it, didn't hold up. So that's kind of the top 10 there of the scan off the scans. I don't see a recent reverse split or recent IPO that looks exciting. So QNRX, have that on a side chart, because if it can get over 7, it's got room on the daily back up to about 1168, quite a bit of room. It's got a window there, a gap fill, so it's worth keeping an eye on. I don't know, I'm not sure if we're going to get anything on it, but this, one of those ones to keep an eye on just in case. VRNA pulling back a bit now. On the 5, it broke out, but not a lot, and then already pulling back. Top, continuation, let's see. So, yeah, well, the problem is, and you can see this, now it's got an established history of being bad. False breakout right there. That was brutal. You see that false breakout where it went here up to a high of 23.38 and then came all the way back down to 20. Those types of candles, when a stock shows a willingness to do that through the combination of high frequency trading algorithms, market makers, whatever it is, insiders selling shares, I don't know, it makes me feel like I can't trust the stock. So 22, I would say, is the breakout spot, and it's at 1870 right now. Could it get back over 22? Well, maybe. And if it does, then I could be more interested. But not here at 18. And you could argue that, well, 18 is a better entry. You're near support. And while that's true, as a continuation setup without a fresh catalyst, there's no guarantee that it's going to go. So I'd rather wait for it to prove it by breaking out and then buying micro pullbacks than try to get in off support. For something that's fresh news, a VNRA type of thing, your entries off support are going to be probably safer compared to this, but even then. I hope ZKIN gives you a nice move. That would be great to see. It's got a nice $75 million headline, so I hope it rallies up there. Okay, so about 10 minutes to the opening bell. Of course, those streaming on Daytrade Dash and in Warrior, you guys have access to my ultra low latency broadcast. Those over on YouTube, you're on a little bit of a delay, so be aware of that. And a reminder, as always, that trading is risky and my results are not typical, so make sure you take it slow. Don't try to blindly follow me or anyone else. Slow and steady, that's the way. Practice this simulated before you put real money on the line. At 10:30, about 10:30 this morning, we're going to do a premiere on YouTube of indicators for avoiding false breakouts. So I hope you guys that are on YouTube will stay tuned for that. That'll be a special episode, which hopefully you find helpful. So I had mentioned that because we, one of the things I've been doing a lot of are charitable donations, which you of course probably know, donated over $1 million to charity. And I like to do fun things, including for everyone that hits the thumbs up, donate $1 to charity, et cetera, et cetera. So I have to donate $2,000 today. And it just so happens that on this youth organization, $2,000 pays for 20 hours of sexual health education. So thank you guys for paying it forward for these young folks. This is important stuff. All right, so of course I won't be teaching the class, but I'll be helping make it happen. All right, so we're going to do this little donation here. So for those that tune in to the live stream or the premiere of my episode on avoiding false breakouts, I hope you do hit the thumbs up. Okay. So one of my goals, so that donation is done. So $2,000 donated. So one of the goals that I have is to try to, pull profit off of Wall Street and send it back to Main Street, small community. So small community in the Berkshires, Massachusetts, where I live. And, for a lot of these organizations that we've donated to, getting a check for $2,000, for $10,000, for $50,000. We were doing last year when the market was hot. I would have days where all the profit I would donate to charity, and I had days where I was up $50,000, $75,000 and donated it all to the local community. So having the local hospital get a check from me for $50,000 made a huge difference. So I hope that some of you guys may someday be in a similar position where you're able to pay it forward, and that can be in a big way, it can be in a small way. I think that we're all very fortunate to be able to sit here and trade on our computers, and those who find profit, it's amazing how much money can be made in the market. It's quite something. So I hope you guys are able to be grateful for the opportunity, and if you are lucky enough to find success, to pay it forward a little bit. And so I do that with donations. I've donated over $1 million to charity. I do that by helping send the ladder back down for you guys, building out this software and the work that I've done to hopefully make the experience of learning how to trade more fun and just a better experience, better journey. We've got about 5 minutes to the opening bell here, a little less than 5. So VRNA, not really that interested in it right now. Kind of a slow day at the moment. I'm hopeful for maybe some type of news or something at the opening bell, but my expectations are a little low. The fact that I'm sitting at only $500, I'm not even halfway to my daily goal here. But I have to be mindful of the fact that in the last 6 days, I'm up about $77,000. So today is so far the smallest green day, but it is a green day. Small green days are okay. And I'd rather have small green days in between big green days than, red days. So if I'm not feeling it, if we don't have anything that's really, really obvious and feels like it's, giving me the setups that I can trust, then the right move is to sit tight. What I said yesterday is when we have something that's really ripping, that's going crazy, I'm going to gun it. I'm going to be aggressive. It's a straightaway. I'm going to try to, gained as much ground as I can, and then when we start coming into the curves, getting into choppy stuff, I'm just going to ease off that throttle real quick, hang low, just sit tight, and then, you know, gun it on the next straightaway. Yeah, you can email it, Dayton. All right, so coming up to the opening bell here. VRNA fake out, yeah. All right, so coming into the open, gonna sit tight. We'll watch to see if there's anything that shows strength. Reminder for those tuning in for the morning show on YouTube, today's the last day to join Daytrade Dash and have my live audio video broadcast included for free. Normally $100 a month, but you guys will get it included for free, those who join today. So make sure you guys check that out. Nice on ZKIN at the open. Just watching scans right now. A lot of stocks hitting the scans. Very common at the open. Lots of things will pop up. Doesn't necessarily mean you want to jump in anything. Just see what holds, see what becomes obvious, see what kind of rises to the top of the pre-market or of the sort of opening chop. Meg L on the scans. Not going to go back for that one today. Traded it yesterday and did well on it, so leave that one alone. Watching stocks hitting scans. VNRA, I'm worried about a rejection and then a flush to red. Low right now is 1350. So given the action pre-market, of course, typically we want to focus on the top 2 or 3 leading gappers, leading gainers, and that has us with VRNA. But like I said, I'm feeling like it's a little choppy. I'm not really sure I want to go for it. And since I missed the some of the earlier moves, I feel like I'd be chasing it up here. So I'm not looking that closely at that one. And that leaves me in a tricky spot. Nice, I like the look of that. I think it's a nice idea on that bounce, Manoli. HLBZ popping up. MRSN, PULM. PULM popped up the other day, so somewhat recent reverse split, but it's under the 200 moving average, so I don't know if we can expect too much from it. QNRX not bouncing. Top, the second day continuation, as I mentioned. Yesterday's level pivot is $22. Sellers stacked right now at 990. NCPL looks like a somewhat recent new stock, maybe? No, not really. I don't know. Just very, very late volume. Looks like they might have done like a merger or something right in this area, because before it had like no volume. Sometimes a little hard to tell what's going on with those. But, you know, again, it's just hitting the scans, but waiting for something to prove itself. HSCS. Yep. NWS halt. Interesting. PULM. A couple more alerts. VRNA up to 1469. Look at that. Look at that. So you've got your moving averages converging. So MACD's coming down. False breakout there. That's what we're going to talk about at 10:30. Avoiding those kind of moves. It's predictable. There's no reason to get caught in a one-point trap like that. Once you can see it, you know it's a trap. Top, moving a little higher, bigger spreads. Quick long on top there. Let's see if we get the break through 22. Watch for an add on top over 2150. So watching top. High that candle is 21. Watching over 21, then 2150. So if we can break over $22, then we've got something we can work with here on top. Watching the add up here at 21. Added at 20.95 for the break at 21. Now looking for 21.50 and a squeeze up to $22. I would love to see second day continuation on top. Taking the loss, I'll look to add back needs to break through 22. Added back there at 2010, buying the dip. Now watch for the pop back up over $21. So I try to buy that dip. Now looking for the add back through 2075. There's 2044. There's 2060 on the ask. So my average right now is $20.10. And I'm looking for the break back over 21 on top. A little choppy to start. MACD is pulling away. So down 475 on it. Made back half the loss. I'm not going to do another dip trade on it. I'm going to keep it on side chart in case it can come back up over 2150. That one has some more potential on the daily. ALVR. Yeah, below the 200. NVAX. AVIR under the 200 as well. I want to see if something becomes obvious. Top over 22 would have been pretty, that would have made that pretty obvious if it had kept going. ALVR keeps hitting the scans. GovX, I've traded it a few times. BNSO, a pullback setup, same with QNRX. First daily candle to make a new high on both of those. Both worth watching, but neither set up quite right. BNSO added back. Looks like it wants to curl through 21. Sorry, top added back. Added back on top there. Looking for the break through 21. New order at 21. Added at 75, 2075. Looking for the squeeze through 21 and then up to 2150 and 22. What I like about this one is that if it starts to move, I think it could move fast because it moved fast yesterday. So right now we're in an ABCD pattern. But if we can break through 21, this level here, 2075, 21, and over 22, then we've got some room. New orders at 2110. So let's see if this wants to squeeze up through 2075. AMBC, I don't think that's the one. I'm looking for ones that have the potential to make a big move if they start to open up. So see how there's that green on the tape there, 69. So the level that we want to see is the breakthrough 21 and then 2150. But I'm going to go flat on it. Puts me down 600 on the day. Right there is where it should have broken. Right on that candle right there. Should have broken 21 and gone through 2140. So as we're getting further into the morning, the problem that we have here is that we don't have anything that's super obvious. We have a few stocks that have popped up, but nothing is really obvious right now. HLBZ is moving a little bit higher. ZKIN moving a little higher. APDN through 550. APDN, long, looking for the squeeze through 70. Watch APDN over 65. Add spot 65 and then 70. Looking for extension through this level. High is 65. I'm looking for the break through this flat top here, and then a move up towards $6. New order is at 75. So as APDN starts to move up, we'll see if this becomes obvious. Watching over 70. So there's 66. Watch 68. There's 69. Now we want to see 70. Watch for an add and a squeeze through 75 and then up to 80. There's 75 on the ask. So new order 75. And then we're going to look for a squeeze up to $6 on APDN. So watching up here at 75 to add. Added at 73 on APDN for the break of 75. There's 77. Booking profit. New order at 80. High of this candle is 80. I'm going to let it pull back, form a 1 minute pullback, and then see if I can get another trade on it. Bought the dip at 75 on APDN for the breakthrough 80. So that flashed up to like 85. Watch the level 2 on this. Let's see if this breaks over 80. Added at 71 to buy the dip. Looking for the break through 77. And then let's see if we get a move up to 85. No, I'm going to go flat on that trade. Dip at 41. Added back on the dip. Back to 55 profit. Quite the flush there. So, what time is it? It's coming up towards 10 a.m. Kind of disappointed we're not seeing more action today, but just very choppy. Good call, SJ. Phase long at 49, 62. Watch for add over 75 and 80. It's a blue sky setup. Add at 75 on phase. Now look for the squeeze through 16. 1642 halt level. Nice. Good job, SJ. Good call. Thank you. Thanks for that call. I know Jorge's been holding phase as well. Holding right now. Watching 42 to move up. Added at 48. Halt level moved up. Now look for the squeeze up through 17 on phase. Watch for an add through 1650. And then we're going to look for a move up to 17. 1697 is the next halt level. Added at 48. There you go. There's 70. Let's see if we can go a little higher. Average is 44. Holding and flat now. Watching for a pullback. I didn't like how it broke that level with a top at 77, but then dipped down on the 10-second chart. The dip was down all the way to 1591. Watching down here. Added at 93. Bought the dip. Nice dip trade. Average is 1583 right now. That is a dip. So you've got to be so fast to hit those dips, but that was a nice dip. Stop flat on the rest. Let's see how high it goes. So high this candle is 77, new order at 77. Bought the dip at 39. Now looking for the break through 1650 and 1670. New orders at 1675 to add for 17. So watch 1670 right here. And let's see if we get a squeeze up to 17. This is a recent IPO, so that gives us a little bit more strength on it, a little bit more potential. Flat on the pullback at 83. Lost 250 on that trade. Sort of looking like a tweezer top up here. But let's just watch this pullback and see if it holds up. Dip at 1602, buying the dip for the pop back up to 1650. Let's see if we can get 1625. There's 1608 on the ask, looking for 1625. Bottoming tail candle. Next order 1625, and then looking for a squeeze up to 1650. Flat at 90, 3-cent loss. All right, well, gave it a couple stabs. Gave back 300-400 off the top. We'll let it pull back. We'll see if it forms a 5-minute or proper 1-minute setup, and then maybe there'll be another trade. I like the idea of the bottoming tail and then back through 615, 625, but we'll see. So small green day at this point, coming up towards 10 a.m. A lot of stuff all over the scanners. Scanners are kind of a lot of different things popping up right now. Dip at 78 on phase. We'll see if we pop back up through 1602. $100 there on that trade. New order. That was 20 cents on 500. New order 1610. I'm trying to anticipate the first 1-minute candle to make a new high, but then it keeps not happening. Nice, double the daily goal. Good work, good for you. So made a little at the open on APDN phase, gave back a little on top, sitting at 1492 on the day. Small green day right now, but green days are good. Small green days pay the bills. This is the 7th day of August, so making our way through the first week and into the second week here. The problem today is that we don't have a super obvious stock. I didn't really like the leading gainer, the leading gapper. Phase, top, these are great ideas. They've got good potential, but they're not as obvious. And so they need to really open up and then be on a lot of scanners in order for other traders to see them and notice them. And it just doesn't seem like that's happening. And maybe that's because there's competition with other stocks that are on scans today. And so we're having a hard time having one rise to the surface. PHAT hitting the scans. Easy to borrow, lighter volume, bigger spreads. So sitting tight right now, watching scans as we come up to 10 a.m. We'll see if there's any news at the top of the hour, but not super likely. HLBZ, nice. Moving higher. phase pulled back too much. Just watching. Nice, good job. Good work getting green. All right, let's see. Well, I think we're struggling due to a lack of something that's really obvious today. So I got green on a couple different stocks, but gave back a little on top, went red on the day, rallied back to green. And I think the rally back to green by itself is enough to say, you know what, that's good. Because today's a day where without something obvious, it would be hard to keep rallying back, but it'd be very easy to go back into the red again. I think that's the problem. So APDN, we got a little action on it. I'm glad we got something, but that one's pulled back, kind of nasty. VNRA gapped up, but sorry, VRNA. But this one's pulled back quite a lot as well. So shorting at the open, fading, profit taking. Seems like the party has ended a little early today. That's how it feels. The good news is it'll start again tomorrow. So there'll be more opportunities, of course, tomorrow. And there may be more opportunities later today. I mean, it's certainly possible. But right now, it feels like we're struggling for lack of something that's obvious, and the leading gainers are not doing super well. GovX is a tough one. Hey, $400 is good. I don't know. I think that's pretty good. MRSN. So Yeah, the thing on this one, the float's a little bit higher. Yeah, it's about 100 million share flow. It is higher. And welcome to those of you guys new on Daytrade Dash, tuning in for the broadcast. Hope you guys are really enjoying it and having a great time. So we've got the premiere on YouTube coming up shortly here. Yeah, I would agree with that. We need something to break highs. So it looks like it's going to be a pretty nice day today. Yep, nice. Very good. PHAT going a little higher. Lighter volume, bigger spreads. So today was a little choppy. PGY popped up there to 2250, pulled back. Phase over 1555, yep. Would love to see this open up a little bit more. Nice, Larissa, good. That's solid. That's a solid green day. And you're still working with a small account, so doing the best you can, I'm sure. HLBZ, false breakout. Look at that red candle. Hits a high of 39, flushes down, rejection. BNSO picking up a little bit. Spread's a little bigger. BNSO is a red to green, but spreads are a little bigger right now. Volume's a little light. Mega L. Ugh. I know, it kind of makes you want to do a dip off the $50 level, but it's been pretty tricky. Low there was 49. Low right there was 49. 48, 47. Just gotta leave it alone. Too much risk. Some of the worst trades this year have been trying to catch the the bounces, the reversals. It's one thing to do a dip. It's another when something is selling off hard to try to anticipate the reversal. I bought BNSO here, 500 shares, and I'll add another 500 over 650. Halt level 660, added another 500 right there for the break of 50. Now let's see if we can squeeze up. That's 58 on the ask. So this is BNSO, halt level is 86. It's $110 there. New order is at 65. High is 58. Smaller size, added at 34 to buy the dip. Now looking for the break through 58. So let's see if BNSO wants to curl up to a halt level. 686 is the halt up on BNSO. There's 58 on the ask. Can it break 58? Added at 58 right there. Brings my average up to 48. Looking for the squeeze through 60. There's 58 on the ask. There's 61. Profit at 61. Just small size. So I'm doing a premiere at 10:30 on YouTube for the video on using MACD and the other indicators that I'm using right now to help me avoid false breakouts. Spreads are bigger on BNSO. It's a similar setup as QNRX. And again, not super obvious, but the high right now is 66. Added back at 64 for the break of 66. Now looking for a squeeze up to 70 on BNSO. Halt level is 702. We'll see if it wants to go up a little higher. It has hit the scan, and the float is 1.4 million, which is pretty low. There's 69. Now watch 70. Added at 69. Now looking for the squeeze through 71 on BNSO, 75. And let's see if we get a move up to 80. So it is grinding. It is rallying up. There's 70 on the ask, looking for 70, 75, 77. Let's see if we break the 70 level. Halt level is $7.09. Flat on that one at 62. $20 loss. Has the potential to halt, but it's just not moving quite fast enough. Oops, sorry. You can on the scans. Leaving an order at 75. Yeah, I think you're right, Nick. Phase rejection. MRSN. Halt levels, you can see them on market data, depending on which market data providers you use. Meg L halted down again. Yeah. News, VORB, J-Space partners with Virgin Orbit to bring sovereign air launch capability to South Korea. Well, a hard sell-off can still be a dip opportunity. Not really with like Meg L, because that's at low a day. But a hard sell-off when something is trending up can be a dip opportunity to buy the dip off of support. But sometimes, of course, they can go a little lower, which is why I always do dips with smaller size. That way I can either average down if it does flush another 50 cents or $1 a share, or I can add as it starts to curl back up. So I just always give myself room to add on those types of trades. Halt up on Meg L is 47.85. ACAN, it's hard for me to feel like I'd want to take a breakout on it because I would need to take such big share size. Seller pinned down on Meg L at 43.50. So a big sell order went through. Today is chop, that's for sure. Today's the day to keep your head down, stay light on your toes. This is not the day to pull out big guns and be aggressive. Definitely not. Nothing has justified it. This is not the day to use big positions. It's not the day to swing for home runs. Get base hits if you can. Get green if you can. Get out. Don't dig the hole deep if you start going red. I think I went red $500 or something like that. Not terrible. So I've traded within minus 1,000 and plus 2,000 today. ACAN, so you got more room to the downside on that. Rejection, back down. Yeah, it's always nice to go from red to green, but you just don't want to go deeper into the red, and it can happen very, very quickly. Today's a day where it feels like you fight for 10 cents up, and then you just keep seeing these flushes of 30 cents down. 10 cents up, 30 cents down. 10 cents up, 30 cents down. And that's a really difficult market to make money in. Slow grind up, flush down. Now, if you have shares available to borrow and the locates aren't too expensive, then there's some opportunity to the short side. Cost to borrow is obviously a factor. That cuts in your profit margin. And for me, taxes are the bigger issue. Because the reality is, when you're a top income earner, making over $1 million a year, you're in the top income bracket, both state and federal. So you're talking about 40% federal and another 5, 6 to 13% state, depending on what state you're in. Well, you trade in a retirement account, which I trade in, no tax. So if I make $1 million, I don't have to pay $500,000 to tax. And this is the reality. I mean, I'm sitting here in the trenches plugging away every single day to try to make $1,500, $2,000. I do that, 250 days in a row through the year, make $1 million, and then I have to give half of that back. That feels like a lot to give back. And it's, just the way it is with taxes. Of course, these big corporations like Amazon and whatever pay no tax at all. But it's the suckers like me in the middle that get squeezed. Those of us that make just enough to be in the top income bracket, but we're at the bottom of the top. If you make $1 million a year, you're the bottom of the top, the very, very bottom. You are nothing. And you're going to pay the most tax, percentage-wise. When you're at the top, come on. These guys it's just unbelievable. So, well, the nice thing is at least we have the 401k, the Roth IRA, the traditional IRAs, and we can trade in those. We can. And you could create a corporation and you could trade in a corporation, but the problem is you would then need to, if you wanted to not pay tax, you would need to buy something with all of the money you make and find depreciation on it. And I mean, it just starts to get like incredibly complicated because this is not an industry, like this isn't a job where you need to buy a lot of stuff. Buying a ton of equipment is not going to help you make more money. Now you just own a ton of equipment. This isn't like a warehouse situation where you can buy more real estate and stuff like that. I'm sure some people out there do mix their trading with, some other company, and they do reinvest it, but I just think trading in a tax deferred account is a little easier. I like it, SJ. I mean, I do. I've, had it on watch for a couple days, but is it obvious? That's the question. And I think at this point in the day, the answer is probably no. So at this point in the day, any trades would have to be, for me, pretty small size. I don't really want to risk going back into the red. So, I'm up 1,600. That means maybe I could risk 600. I don't want to go less than 1,000. So $600 of risk. That's about all I've got. LYT, algo spike there, one big candle, but volume's light. Taxes wouldn't be any different on a free platform like TD Ameritrade. That wouldn't have any bearing on taxes. You'd still get a 1099 at the end of the year, unless it's a retirement account. But let's keep the main room for trade ideas for those that are still hunting. High a day on QNRX is 81. You have the offering sold off a lot, has potential curl back up, but it's just not doing it yet. PHAT, I'm pretty sure that was easy to borrow. Let me check the float on it. 39 million share float. I don't think today's the day. Meg-L halted down again. So we don't have, last week we had HDK, we had PGY the week before that. Right now, we don't have one that's kind of like super exciting that's getting traders going. All right, so 10:30, we're going to do the premiere of this new episode on YouTube. Let's see, so I'll give you the link for that. So I'll walk you through the 3 steps that I'm taking to help me avoid false breakouts. Doesn't mean I never fall into a trap, but this is a market where we've seen some pretty nasty false breakouts. So it's, I think, especially important to try to do what you can to avoid falling into those traps. So the premiere will be right here. Well, MACD is something that I've used on and off over the years. And when the market's really hot, I don't use it. But right now, when it's a colder market, it's helpful, especially on a strong momentum stock, not really on something like CS has no volume, but on something that has volume is moving, it can be helpful to add another indicator for confirmation. And there's a number of different ones that you can use, but I do find that's helpful. I see that. So I'm not going to do a separate recap today. I am going to be out for the rest of the day. I'm on my traveling trading station. So, you know, the goal of trading and traveling is get in, get green, and then enjoy the rest of the day. It's 10:30 and my day is done. I can now enjoy being outside and enjoy summer. It's August, so I've got $1,600 for the day. I had 9,500 yesterday, so a little over 10,000 on the week, getting close to 80,000 on the month. 100,000 is the next target. And, you know, this is sort of what I'm hoping is that now as we come into September and then October, November, December, that we see things pick up more and more and more, and then we have a really strong finish to the year. Right now, the overall market, although it's not helping us a lot today, it is helping, generally speaking, over the last month and a half as we've been rallying off the lows and we're back up to the 200. So now if the market can reclaim the 200 and finish the year up around 450 or higher, we're looking really good going into January. There are still firms out there that think that we're going to break highs before the end of the year, so we'll see. But we are technically in a recession, 2 quarters of declining GDP, and we certainly did go into a bear market, but we are rallying back up off the low a bit. So hopefully we'll be able to have a strong finish to the year. A little bit slow. We had a good start, a little slow in the middle. And things are picking up here in August. So hopefully that's an indicator of more action to come. All right, so yeah, and got green today on, let's see, 5 stocks, green on 4, no, well, ZVZCT is a NASDAQ test stock. So green on 4 out of 5, red on top, green on phase, green on APDN, ZKIN, BNSO, small winners. So started to scale down and reduced risk a little bit because I didn't want to risk going back into the red. Went red on the day on top, as you probably recall, but have rallied back up. All right, so that's going to do it for me. We've got about 2 minutes here until 10:30, the premiere on YouTube. So we'll go watch that, and I'll be back at it first thing tomorrow morning. Hopefully, we have some good action. That's what I'm hoping for. Some good action tomorrow. So Wednesday, Thursday, midweek, and then slow it down going into the weekend on Friday. All right, so take it slow. Reminder as always, trading is risky and my results are not typical. There's no guarantee that you'll find success whether you're trading with me or you're learning on your own. So make sure you take it slow and practice in a simulator. And I'll see you guys back here tomorrow morning. Okay, see you in the morning.